Hi, it's me, Renee. I'm back. And as you can see, I'm being extra silly today. Why, you may ask? Because, as you can see from the title, once again, we're here for the hilarious Readathon announcement. This would be round 4, I believe. I can't count. And yeah, in case you don't know, Hilarious Readathon is one of my own Readathon concepts, creations. And it's all about reading funny books. It doesn't have to be hilarious, but if you lose your breath laughing, cool. But the main point is to read something funny. And in January, it's the first day of the month. You have there's lots of expectations, exceptions. You expect you should do this and this, all these should, all this have to. I feel like you also need to take some time away from the things you should do and remember to laugh, to smile. Laughing makes you live longer. And they also say that reading makes you live longer. So supposedly I'm not never gonna die. But yeah, a laugh is never wrong. And yeah, the Hilarious Readathon is going all through January. So it's a month-long thing. But it's very chillax. There's no competition, no points. There's prompts, and that's that. You don't need to register someplace. You don't need to really do anything. If you want to do a TBR video and tag me, fun. If you only manage to read one book that's funny, that still counts. One book counts. And also, here at the Hilarious Readathon, we do not exclude. We are not snobs. So if you finish a middle grade book, if you finish a comic book, a graphic novel, an audiobook, everything counts. You can use the prompts if you want some tips, but if you want to interact with other people on the booktube webs on booktube, and if you already plan to read a funny book, you can use that book for that plan, but also for this one. Tag me, and you have done it. But yeah, if you want to hear this round's prompts, it is a middle grade book. Lots of funny middle grade books out there. Not gonna be issue to find that. A new to you offer, because new year, new you, or new offers. Always good to try new offers. At least that's something I say. Also, it doesn't have to be a debut offer, just an offer you haven't read by before. A book published after 2020, or sorry, published in 2020 or since, so a newer book. This is kind of just to show that lots of funny newer books. Doesn't have to be a book from this year, but yeah, 2020 until January. If there's a book that's coming out in January 2026 you believe will be funny, pick that one up. Then we have, as always, a romance. I feel like sometimes books with romance in it focus very on romance, and that's good. But there are also some that are also very funny. Though, as I said, it doesn't have to be a very funny book. As long as it's made you laugh in one chapter, that counts. It does definitely count. Then we have a non-fiction book, a biography, a book about something interesting. As long as it's funny, you can use it. And it's non-fiction. BIPOC author, Black Indigenous Person of Color. So yeah, anyone who's not white, you can use here. Biracial, anyone. And don't say that the people who are not white don't write funny. They do. A lot of them have very funny books. Don't come with that excuse. No. No. I suppose also, as always, if you want to do a category from the prompts and you are finding it hard, always ask me in comments here or ask me in another comment in another video. That's always fun. Fine, and I will give you a recommendation. Then we have, sorry, a picture-based book. This could be a graphic novel, a book, a comic book. It could be a book, kind of books that are based around newspaper clippings. I mean, you have like books where it's just kind of funny things around the world, and then there's a bit of text. As long as it's like, I would say like half of it is supposed to be picture based. As long as it's half pictures and funny, use it. Then we have not UK or US offer, as in it can be an offer from Australia, can be an offer from Norway, can be an offer from Iceland, from Japan, from Korea, anywhere that's not the US or UK. So yeah, as I said, you can use Australia if you want. Uh, then I decided to do, yeah, short book, which might make you think, how do you define a short book, Renee? How is that defined? Well, I would say any book under 280 pages is short in my mind. Though honestly, I'm gonna say here, you can you can find it yourself. A book that you feel is short. Maybe you usually read books that are 800 pages. Well, then 300 for you would be short. So yeah, that's up to you, really. Then we have a Norwegian offer. I am Norwegian. This is my readathon. I want to have some Norwegian representation somehow here. And yes, we do have Norwegian books out in English. That's not an issue. And yeah, some of them are funny. So that's not a problem, really. It's not. Then we have a TBR Anglo, TBR oldie, as in a book that's been on your TBR for a bit. I suppose you could argue what is an oldie. I would say, I suppose also depending on how long you've been a reader, like if you just discovered books this Christmas, last year, something like that, then a book that's been the longest on your TBR. It can be like if you read a book, I suppose, yeah, that's a good way to say it. A book that's been on your TBR for a long, long time, or the longest. Some people, it can be 10 years for me. Some people, it can be 5 years, depending on who you are, really. Then we have not Anglo offer. Here, here we're talking about a book that's not written by a person from England, UK. Sorry, England. Okay, so like not like and not anywhere English speaking, not US, not Australia, not the UK. Yeah, I was also gonna agree. Not South Africa because they have lots of big English speaking population. But yeah, people from offers from Sweden, offers from Spain, from Italy. Yeah, anywhere of the countries in the world that doesn't speak English, like as their main language. Lots of them out there. Lots of them have funny books, and lots of them are available in English. Of course, if you're doing this readathon and you don't have English as a first language, you're fully allowed to read your own, you read the book in Swedish, in Dutch, in Spanish, Portuguese, whatever. That's up to you. Then we have fantasy book, or funny fantasy book. Also, not gonna feel like that's not gonna be an issue. Of course, depending on how much fantasy you read, but yeah, quite a lot of it is fantasy. And then we have a recommendation book. So it's been recommended from me. It's from me, by me, recommended by someone on BookTube, recommended by a friend. It's a book that you saw recommended in your local bookstore. Someone recommended the book to you. Count it. And then we have, then we have actually one non reading prompt, which is see a movie. everyone agrees is funny. Or in other words, a movie that's from one of those, if you Google lists funny books, funny movies of all time, one of the movies on there, if you haven't seen it, or if you have seen it, want to see it again, yeah, watch that one during January, and you've ticked off that prompt. You're always allowed to do more than one prompt for each book. You can double up on prompts, no problem. I suppose some of them, but I mean, this is a readathon where you can't. I feel like you can't really do or one readathon, one book with all the prompts. I think that's gonna be a bit difficult, but you can manage to do a lot of these prompts, reading 3 or 4, I believe. So yeah, that is the announcement for the first of many of this year's readathons, of this year's hilarious readathon. I hope you enjoy, and participate. And yeah, I'll see you around. Bye.